Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Your Impact. I'm Cassandra Higgles, your host. And today we're going to learn about 7 technologies that were made it possible because they were inspired by science fiction novels or, TV series, whatever. So actually, people imagined them and somebody else came, step in because they were inspired and create them, and we have them now as our technology that make our lives so much easier. And I will explain 7 of them that they're gonna blow your mind. It's amazing how they became realities. So number one is actually a technology that is so important for army, and it is the submarines, of course. So the story is that Jules Verne, which is considered the father of science fiction, uh, wrote a novel called 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And in it, it was a story of a submarine, let's say, an undersea ship that was called Nautilus. And then Simon Lake, uh, who was reading from his childhood, create his own submarine because he was inspired by that story. So he created the submarine, the first that we find in the history, and his invention really changed the world. He called the submarine Argonaut, and later on, uh, Julia Verne actually wrote a letter to him because he was so thrilled, like he created the summary, he made his vision a reality in 1898, so very long time ago. And now we have submarines all over the world, all over the oceans, discovering marine life. So the second technology is actually something that we use every single day, every single one of us. And there are our mobiles, there are cell phones. So if you are a fan of Star Trek, I'm not a fan, but if you are, then you will know about a gadget called the communicator. So what is a communicator? Was like a mobile phone, a wireless phone, and that inspired to create a cell phone by Martin Cooper. So, and later on in the 70s, later on, Martin actually credited Star Trek as his inspiration. So, another technology, thanks to science fiction stories, is the taser. The one that make you electrocute if you have a stalker or someone. So the taser, the story is that there was this series. The hero was called Tom Swift, and these were books, a series, scientific fiction, of course, books. And the character actually has this stun gun. So NASA physics called Jack Clover. He was reading, of course, the books, and he was inspired to create the teaser. And actually, the teaser is an acronym meaning Thomas Swift Electric Rifle. So he was so inspired that he actually named his invention by the character. So number 4, the fourth technology we're gonna talk about is something really, really amazing. We don't have it still, but in the follows maybe decades we'll have it. And it's about the self-driving cars. Can you imagine? We have cars that we don't need any driving lessons. Good. So the driving cars, it was kind of an inspiration by someone called, and maybe you know it, Isaac Asimov. So Isaac was writing this article on the New York in 1964, and he imagined this. He write this essay about robot brain cars, let's say, so which will be self-driving without any humans driving them. And well, 50 years later from this essay, in 2017, we see a lot of companies trying to create the first self-driving cars, like Google, Tesla, even Apple, and maybe in the future we will drive one. So another technology is, of course, something called 3D printer. And it's really an awesome technology. With 3D printer, you can print everything. I mean, it's amazing what you can print and what you can have because of the 3D printer. So this was another invention inspired by Star Trek. So Star Trek really make a lot of fictional things that people wanted to create realities, and because they inspire scientists to create them. So in the 3D printer, for instance, there was this tool in the series, in the film, in the story. It's called replicator. Sorry, and this device was actually was a tool like a 3D printer, so it did the same thing, and that's why in 1983, Charles invented, inspired by that, the 3D printer we use today. So another technology are something I'm sure you use maybe every single day in, with your train, your transportation, going to work or anywhere actually. It's headphones. So headphones were inspired by a very famous novel. It's called Fahrenheit 451. And this book was telling about this world that people were distracted by technology. They were talking about flat TVs and something called seashell radio. So the seashell radio you have in your ears, and you can listen to to music, to the ocean, and music. So, and that inspired creating the headphones, like a seashell in our ears. So that's really the sixth technology, and we have another one. It's called, of course, atomic power. Yes, even atomic power was inspired by scientific fiction. So Wells wanted to create atomic power in his 1913 novel. It's called The War Set Free, and his vision inspired, of course, a scientist called Leo Szilard 20 years later to create atomic power. And to use it now, we use it for energy, some countries, of course. So these are 7 technologies were inspired by science fiction. And just, remember, or, you haven't understand yet, technology and science start actually with imagination. That's why these STEM fields, or other kind of scientific fields, actually they start with somebody having an idea, and they use their imagination and to develop it and test it, and the what it will do. So it all starts with creative of the person, of the scientist, of the personality is looking to invent. So you have to use your imagination, everything. Think outside of the board. Maybe you were inspired to invent something of your own. Maybe you read it in a book, or you have your own original idea. So use your imagination, think outside of the box, and just let your mind be free. And anything is possible. I mean, we have airplanes now. We thought, we were the first people we considered flying thought we are crazy. We will have the future of self-driven cars. We have so many technologies because some people dare to imagine and somebody else try to make it them true. And you can be both person, of course, now. So thank you for being with me with another episode of Her Impact. Make sense your superpower. And I'll see you next time with another episode.